Free comic book day has come and went, and boy, do I have some stuff to show you guys. So stay tuned to see what I got. Hey YouTube, it's Mandak coming at you with another haul video here. So welcome into haul video 167, guys. So this haul video is kind of covering a bunch of stuff. Like I said, Free Comic Book Day is in this haul, but also May the 4th stuff, a trip with my friend to 2nd and Charles, and I think that's pretty much the main stuff. So like I said, before, I haven't really bought a lot of stuff recently, but this kind of just accumulated here, so I figured I show it all off. So I got some comics, some Lego here for you guys. So let's go ahead and get into the sections of the video. All right, guys, so thank you so much for watching these this part of the video. So this is the comic section here. So like I said, I have a bunch of comics to show, some manga, but before I get into that, I do want to talk about what I've been reading. So I guess I'll start with Thunderbolts. So I think last haul I was talking about how I was finishing volume 2 of the omnibus. I have since finished the 3rd volume of Thunderbolts, the 3rd omnibus. And that's pretty much all the Thunderbolt stuff I care to read, at least for right now. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Brought back some of the old characters for some of the newer runs here during like Civil War and stuff like that. But sorry, I'm just getting adjusted here. But yeah, really enjoyed it. It's funny because I actually went and saw Thunderbolts with my wife, and obviously the movie didn't really relate anything at all, I would say, back to the comics, right? I mean, none of the characters were in the movie, so if that's a spoiler, I'm sorry, but I don't think it should really spoil anybody that none of the characters from the original Thunderbolts are in this movie. But also spoiler alert here, so if you want to skip ahead, go and do so. Apparently the movie was revealed to be like the new Avengers, actually, and the Thunderbolts name was basically just like a soccer team that Yelena had when she was growing up, which kind of cheapens the whole idea of the Thunderbolts to me. But overall, I thought it was a really solid movie, though. But yeah, just I guess now I'm holding out hope that we'll eventually get an actual Thunderbolts movie with the characters. But obviously, a lot of those characters don't exist in the MCU yet, so who knows? But I still think there's still some opportunities there to actually do a proper Thunderbolts movie with the characters. So we'll see what happens, right? But yeah, so Thunderbolts overall, like I said, I don't think I'll be reading any more anytime soon, but who knows, right? So segueing into some of my other read-throughs, as I've explained in the last haul video, I've been reading Fantastic Four and Superman. So read a bunch of Fantastic Four Epic Collection since the last haul video here. So I read volume 5, The Name is Doom. And I'm probably just going to go through these in pretty quick order. So you'll see the pictures and then they'll go through the next ones. The next one I read was volume 6, At War of Atlantis. So that one was also interesting. And then volume 7, Battle of Behemoths, I believe was the last Epic Collection to have Jack Kirby stuff. And from there, he drops off, I believe. I don't know. It might be that volume 6, actually. But yeah, so basically Jack Kirby drops off the book, and then John Buscema takes over the drawing duties. And then right now, I'm about halfway through Annihilus Revealed. Jerry Conway's writing the book now, so it always... Like, Roy Thomas wrote it for a little bit, and then Jerry Conway is now writing it, so I think they're switching back and forth, but Yeah, it always is like kind of a bummer once like Stanley and Jack Kirby jump off a book. Like I felt the same way when I read Thor. Like as soon as like because the last 20 or so issues of Thor with Jack Kirby and Stan Lee were pretty dope. Like and they read really fast for like late 1960s stuff, early 70s. And then like we got into the Jerry Conway, Roy Thomas era of stuff where I just felt like it was very forgettable, right? And kind of just tied us over until we got to Walter Simonson. Obviously there was more writers sprinkled in there too, right? But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat here with Fantastic Four. Like, there's still some plot points that are going on that are interesting for me though. Like, you know, we have the introduction of um, not introduction of, but we have like the story point where Sue and Reed are separated. So I was actually kind of surprised to see that. Like I didn't really pay too much attention to Fantastic Four comics until I started reading them, obviously, but I never knew that they separated. And they're still separated as far as I'm reading it is concerned. I think I'm in like the mid 130s right now. And then also at the same point we have Crystal and Johnny separating. So Crystal actually goes to be with Quicksilver, Pietro, and yeah, that's also a real bummer for me. You know, obviously, I kind of know further down the line what happens between Pietro and Crystal, right? And obviously, it's not good stuff either. I mean, Quicksilver's kind of a dick in the comics anyway, so I was really shipping Crystal and Johnny to stay together, but unfortunately, that's not how it happened. And like there's one issue, I'll show the panel here maybe, but like there's one issue where like at the end it's the issue when like, you know, Johnny and Crystal basically agree to go their separate ways, and like the Thing's trying to cheer him up and it's like, hey, like do you want to go hang out and watch a movie or something tonight with me? And then Johnny's like, yeah, I guess I can do that, like I have nothing going on now anymore. And it just kind of hits you, like, but also gives you that level of comfort that like, you know, Ben's kind of like his big brother and is kind of trying to find ways to comfort him. So yeah, I mean, bottom line though, with all these books, I'm definitely still enjoying them. Obviously Franklin has been born at this point, so I don't know if I think I might have mentioned it in my last haul, but like Sue was pregnant at the time that I was doing my last haul, and obviously since then in my read through she has given birth to Franklin. And we're kind of getting some hints as to some of his powers and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. You know, we still haven't seen Valeria yet, but I'm sure that's coming down the line here. But yeah, I mean, like I said, overall, it's really good that I'm reading this. You know, the trailers for Fantastic Four dropped a couple weeks ago, so my level of hype for that movie's growing the closer we get to it. So really excited for that, and like I said, just really enjoying this read through of Fantastic Four. It's like the last big pillar of like Marvel comics that I haven't really tapped into yet. I think I've talked about this before, but you know, I've read Thor, Captain America, obviously Iron Man, obviously a lot of Avengers, obviously a lot of X-Men and Wolverine. So like Fantastic Four was like my like blind spot that I just never got to read yet. So I'm glad I'm reading it here. And like I said, this read through is going to take me probably through the rest of the summer, probably the rest of this year. Hopefully not into next year, but we'll see. My reading has just been a lot slower lately. Just a lot of other stuff going on in my life that I just haven't really had a lot of chances to sit down and read extensively here. But yeah, all good stuff though. All right, so Superman, where I'm at with that. So I think since the last haul, I finished the Superman Batman stuff. So finished those two trades. I read the first 3 volumes of Superman Adventures. So the first 2 I've had for a while. I bought them at an Ollie's for really cheap. Ollie's good stuff cheap. But yeah, read those, really enjoyed it, really loved the art style. Really liked that it was based off of the show, which I've seen clips of like when I was growing up, but never actually watched the full show, so maybe I'll have to do that. But yeah, really flowed nicely. Really enjoyed it. Quick read. And then actually, I did spoil one of the things I have here for my haul, but I will show it here. I did buy volume 3 at a store with my friends, so I'll show that later on here. But I did read it before this haul, so there's that. And then currently, right now, I'm reading the second volume of Superman City of Tomorrow. So I did read the first one, really enjoyed it. This is Superman around the year 2000. So there's this whole event at the end of the first trade that is based around like Y2K and stuff like that. So, really enjoyed reading that. I thought that was kind of cool. And then, the second volume gets into a rift that Lois and Superman have based on like a trip that Superman took with Wonder Woman. So Lois and Clark are kind of trying to make amends with that. And kind of shows more of the human side of Superman and Clark Kent, obviously, in this volume, which I really like. I do appreciate all like the outer space, like like high event, like giant, like space opera stuff that Superman does at times, but I always seem to gravitate more to like the Smallville based stories, and there's a lot of them in the second volume. Obviously, you have Luthor kind of doing all of his stuff behind the scenes, and obviously it's called the City of Tomorrow because like all the stuff that happened with that event in the last book kind of like sets the scene, I guess, for the story. So I'm really excited to read that and hopefully go through that at some point. So just give me 1 second. My boss emailed me and I just want to make sure. Okay, it's just for a meeting request. So there you go. Yeah, it's for next week. All right. So anyways, so that's where I'm at with Superman. So I have a couple more book stuff to read. That read through, I don't know if I'll get to finish it before July. We're already halfway through May here, so I don't think I'll finish it before then. But always worth a shot there. And then to quickly wrap up this read through what I've been reading stuff, I did sprinkle in a couple of like individual graphic novels and stuff along the way here. So I read Fire by Brian Michael Bendis. To be honest, I read that about a month ago, and I honestly can't even tell you what happened. I think it's about a guy named Fire or something. It was all right. It wasn't great. Recently here, I read Fishtown. I don't remember the writer's name, but it was a very good read. It was about this story about these kids who basically murder one of their friends to get money to buy drugs. It's all based in Fishtown, like near like a Philadelphia suburb. So yeah, that's kind of why I bought the book. I was kind of interested in it, but yeah, it is a really good self-contained story. Took me maybe 45 minutes to read. So it's a really quick read. But yeah, it's one of those reads that just made me feel kind of uncomfortable because I'm like, oh geez, they're not gonna get out of this. And it was just very like sad to see what happened to those kids. But yeah, it was a pretty like I said, if you're looking for like a quick like murder like graphic novel type of thing, like crime, I wouldn't really consider it crime noir, but like a crime graphic novel, this is your cup of tea. And then lastly here, while I was flying home yesterday from work, I read the graphic novel adaptation of Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. And it was illustrated by another guy. I forget what his name is. I think it was like Tim Hamilton or something. If not, I apologize. But anyways, that was great. It's funny. I've recently been buying a lot of graphic novel adaptations of books that I read in like middle school and high school. So funny enough, I did read Fahrenheit 451 when I was in 8th grade. So it's funny because I talked to my wife and she actually read it in high school. So it's a dystopian novel about how basically like, firefighters go around burning books instead of putting out fires. And it's set in the future, and there's this whole like threat of nuclear war too looming in the background. But basically about a firefighter named Guy Montag who, you know, tries to learn about books and almost gets persecuted because of it. So, you know, it's interesting. I really enjoyed it when I was reading it when I was in middle school, and it was a great treat to read it again here in graphic novel form. The graphic novel itself was very good. Obviously, they couldn't put all the text from the book in it, but the art was very good. It flowed very nicely. And yeah, just a really quick read too. I mean, it took me maybe like an hour on the plane to read it. So yeah, really, really recommend picking that up if you can find it somewhere for cheap. So that's 14 minutes later. That's my haul here, or that's not my haul. That is my what I've been reading for the last, probably about 2 months, maybe month and a half. So yeah, it sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm really behind on my goal for Goodreads. So if you follow me on Goodreads, you'll see that I'm really behind. I told myself I was going to read, like 200 books this year. And I think I've only read like 30, 35. So yeah, I will fall way short of that. I think page count wise, I think I should hopefully match what I did last year, but I still think I'll fall short of that too. But, you know, what I'm trying to do is just trying to read a little bit every day just so I can keep, you know, working towards getting my collection completely read. So we'll get there one day. But right now, I think I'm sitting around 60% read. So I think that's pretty good for right now. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the comic haul for this section. So as I mentioned, went to Free Comic Book Day with my wife. So that was the same day we went to go see Thunderbolts. We stopped at a comic shop in Reading, Pennsylvania, called Golden Eagle. So for anyone who's fans of the Comic Geek Speak podcast, which most of the people I liked from that podcast aren't on the show anymore, which is disappointing. There was this whole fallout, and yeah. But yeah, most of the people that were on that show went to Golden Eagle. They all live kind of around this area, like in the Berks County area. I don't live in Berks County, but I live nearby it. But yeah, this was a store that they talked about for a while as, like, you know, I think they knew someone that owned the store, or one of the owners was one of their friends, something like that. But yeah, I told my wife I wanted to try them out, so we made a day of it. We went into a nearby farmer's market, got some coffee and chilled, and, you know, went to this comic book store, and then went to go see Thunderbolts. So it was a really fun day. I didn't pick up much. I did pick up some things I'll show here. So the first one here is Iron Man number 58. So got this for $3, which kind of makes sense because the top of the cover is a little beat up, but this was one issue that I just didn't have in my collection. So really glad to pick up a older-ish issue of Iron Man for a decent price. I looked through more of them, but all the other ones they had I already owned, so that kind of sucked. I wish I could have found more issues, because like I said, the spot I'm at now with my collection, in terms of filling holes, is like 0 to 100, or I guess not 0, 1 to 100. I don't think I'll ever own issue 100, or issue 1, because it's super expensive for no real good reason other than the fact that it's number 1. Like, it's not the first appearance of Iron Man. It's actually in the middle of a storyline too, so that's also kind of annoying. But anyways, I've already talked about that ad nauseum on this channel. Some other stuff I got here. Well, actually, my wife was given this. So she was standing outside waiting for me to check out, and some random person came up to her and gave her some of this stuff. So I don't know. I think I'll just get rid of some of this stuff, or I don't know, maybe sell it. I don't know. I'm not gonna sell. I'm not gonna sell a previews guide. Yeah. So this preview might be kind of interesting. I might thumb through this later, but you know, otherwise it's meh. This, I don't know what this is. So yeah, but we got that. And then the store offered, you could buy 2 free comics. So I bought the Star Wars 10 years of Star Wars comics, which is insane to think about for Marvel, because I remember I bought the first Star Wars comic that came out in 2015 when I was still in college. So yeah, this is going to be interesting to read. You know, you can see here some other books that they're promoting inside. So that was kind of fun to pick that up. And then the next one here, I'm looking forward to actually buying this at some point, is the Will Eisner biography. So this is kind of like an excerpt from that biography of Will Eisner, who is one of the, obviously the Eisner Award is named after him, but he's one of the most notable like early cartoonists in the comic industry. So yeah, I always thought his signature kind of looked like Disney. So I always refer to him kind of like the Disney of comics, but I don't know if that's really the same. I don't know if that's really an apt description that he wants to be compared to. But yeah, so that was my free comic book day stuff. Let's see what else. I do have some other stuff here at the end that I'll show that I also got from free comic book day. But I just want to keep going in the order I have here so I don't mess anything up. Okay. So I also mentioned I went to Second and Charles, I want to say about a month ago at this point, with one of my friends from college. I head off for Good Friday because my work gives me off for Good Friday for some reason. So that's the perk about working for a company that's based out of Lancaster, PA. But yeah, anyways, picked up some manga while I was there, and also a bookmark just slid out, so that's cool. I will keep that for some other stuff. Picked up 2 volumes of One Punch Man. While I was at this store with my friend, he actually went and completed like 2 manga series that he was collecting and like spent a crap ton of money. I tried to stop him, but obviously it didn't work. But yeah, for me, I just picked up 2 volumes of One Punch Man, just because I think they were missing volumes 12 and 13 or something like that, and I didn't want to like have gaps because I don't want to miss stuff there. So picked up 2 of those for now. All of these were on sale. Like I got these for like $7 each, which, you know, is about 30% off. These normally go for like $10 each, so I thought that was a decent deal there. And then the next chunk of books here I got was some more My Hero Academia. So I got volumes 6 through 10 of that series. So right now I'm kind of up to at least volume 10 for both of these series. So hopefully I can complete them at some point. But yeah, really excited to get this. You know, I still remember back when I worked at Cardinal Glass over there in Easton, Pennsylvania. One of my coworkers was like applauding this series so much and was like basically begging me to collect it. So hopefully it's all worth the hype. And I heard recently too, my friend told me that it recently ended, the main series finally concluded. I think it's like 40 volumes total. So that's great. So now I can actually officially go and try to get all those volumes. You know, like I said, I think at some point I may just wait for like the buy 2 get 1 free sale from Target or Amazon and just go and buy them that way. Because that's kind of how I completed Attack on Titan 2 years ago now at this point. So I may just do that because it's probably the cheapest way, or just look for more volumes at Second and Charles. Cool. Some other stuff I got from Second and Charles. This one is by a Pulitzer Prize winner, and it's called The Talk, written by Darren Bell. So yeah, this is a graphic novel. I think it's about like, obviously I think it's about African American culture, and kind of like, it's called The Talk because I think it's the talk about like, you know, police brutality and like kind of what like young African American men and women should do like if they're approached by police officers, which is just an unfortunate reality in our country here, is just the amount of racial profiling and discrimination that goes on when it comes to, you know, police brutality and stuff like that. So that's what this book is about, just from what I've read on the back cover. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this. You can see kind of what the inside of that looks like. So this will definitely be something I probably bring with me on an airplane and read, kind of like I did with Fahrenheit 451 and Fishtown, right? I'll probably read this as I'm on a flight somewhere, because I can, you know, I like to read these because it definitely, number one, adds a book to my collection, right? Obviously, this is going to be a really intriguing read to experience, right? But it also helps me kind of increase my page count too. So I obviously don't read books just for that, but that's part of part of my reading goal, I guess, for every year is to get to a certain page number there. All right. Next book I also picked up here from Second & Charles, and that is Midnighter, the complete collection. So this is DC. This collects, let's see, the 12 issue series, and then Midnighter and Apollo numbers 1 through 6, and then stories from DC Cybernetic Summer number 1 and DC Pride number 1. So from what my friend told me, Midnighter is by, or not by, he is gay. I think that kind of explains why the DC Pride book is in there, right? But reading through, just thumbing through this looks really interesting. The art looks great. I don't really know much about this character, right? But I kind of took a chance on this book, and my friend who I was with recommended it to me. So really excited to give this a read and see what this is all about. So like I said, I don't really do that much with DC books. I don't really have a lot of DC books in my collection, to be honest. But nice thick paperback, all contained in one book. I just thought it was kind of a good pickup there. And it was a decent price. I think got this for $17, which was half off, I think. More than half off, yeah. All right, so there's that. And as I alluded to earlier, here is the 3rd volume of Superman Adventures. So pick this up at Comics Connection. I think that's the name that's the name of the store over there near Harrisburg. So found this on a shelf, like as my friend was getting ready to check out. I looked at it and I'm like, oh shoot, I need that. So this collects Superman Adventures numbers 17 through 25. And then there's also like a Power Girl, or like not Power, Supergirl, sorry, a Supergirl story that's in here too. But they don't list it on the back for some reason. It's like a separate story. But yeah, it's this one right here. So Last Daughter of Argo. Oh wait, never mind. It is Superman Adventures number 21. So they used that issue to kind of do a longer story about Supergirl. This book's nice. I'm kind of confused why the first two use like the glossy printing, and then this one kind of goes to the like more like newspaper-esque paper, which is a lot lower quality. And this book was still $20. So I'm not really a big fan of that, but obviously you get more issues in here than just 6. So I guess it kind of makes sense why it's $20. But yeah, this was great. Really good, like kind of end cap, I guess, to the Superman Adventures read through I had. I think that, I'm not sure if there's more volumes of this, but yeah, I think there was only 3. I don't think they made any more. And if there is, I'll maybe get them at some point. All right. So while I was going back to Free Comic Book Day, I have 2 more books here to show. When I was at Free Comic Book Day at Golden Eagle, they were doing sales. It was 25% off all hardcovers and paperbacks, which wasn't the greatest sale, right? Obviously, I can get stuff for cheaper online or, elsewhere. But I did want to buy something because, I do like to support local businesses, and obviously comic book shops are local businesses, and Free Comic Book Day is kind of where a lot of them make their scratch. So I wanted to support a local business, and obviously this book was also on a really good price to start with, so I thought it made sense to pick it up. And that is Catwoman Lonely City by Cliff Chang. So this collects the complete miniseries, numbers 1 through 4 of Lonely City. Funny enough, actually, this past weekend I was at a shop where I saw like the individual issues of these on sale. Like they were like in like bagged and board and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a Black Label book. It's kind of like it's kind of the same size as like Fantastic Four. What's that? Fantastic Four Full Circle, that graphic novel that Alex Ross did for Marvel. It's kind of in that same dimension here. It's kind of more like in a I don't know how to describe this format, but it's in that size, right? It's not like a traditional size hardcover. It's a little bit wider, at least in my opinion. Maybe I'm just dumb and don't see it that way. But yeah, this is gonna be great. Still sealed. This was cover price on this was $30, which I think is pretty fair for like 4 oversized like issues, right? But with 25% off, it was like $22, which I thought was a pretty good deal for this. So that's kind of why I went and bought it. And like I said, trying to support a local business. I read most of my Catwoman stuff. Like the only Catwoman stuff I have is Brubaker and Pfeiffer. And then I have, I forget what, I have like, I think it's the Catwoman When in Rome. I bought that a year ago or so. So this is, that and this is the only stuff I have left to read from Catwoman. And then I have the Batman Catwoman crossover series that came out with Tom King a couple years ago. But yeah, that one looks really nice. I like Cliff's art, so and I think he wrote and drew this, so I think that's going to be an interesting kind of dynamic there. All right, and the last book I got here, just for kind of the lulls, but also to kind of read at some point maybe, is I bought this for $4, and I think I might have mentioned this in the past, but last year my wife and I went and saw Wicked. And we both really enjoyed the movie, and we're both really excited for the sequel that's coming out this year. We rewatched Wizard of Oz, so we're very much in like the Wizard of Oz, Wicked kind of like hype. Her brother actually bought her like the entire book set of Wicked for her birthday, so yeah, we're very much in that vein. And we were kind of looking through some of the books that were on sale at this store, and I found this Marvel Treasury Edition issue of The Marvelous Land of Oz, #1. So this is a crazy find. This is like the size of like those bigger Treasury Edition books. Obviously, those books were based off of the size of this book, right? But yeah, this was really cool here. I'm really, it's a Romita cover. So John Romita drew this cover, which I thought was pretty insane. This is from 1975. So I don't know how much this is worth. Obviously, it was only on sale for $4, so it can't be worth much. But I'm really intrigued to read this. I wonder if I'm assuming if it's John Romita that did the cover, that he also did the interiors, but I could be wrong. But this just looks so funny and loopy, and I can't wait to hopefully read this at some point. This is going to be a fun treat to read. So kind of just picked that up on a whim, but excited I did. So yeah, so that is my comic haul. So 31 minutes later, that's what I got. And yeah, so that's that. Let's go ahead and get into the Lego here real quick. All right, guys, welcome into the Lego section here of haul video number 167. So yeah, so got a couple of things here. So Lego's May the 4th promo stuff came and went. I've been burned once already from that whole experience, so I did not go and spend a crap ton of money on that. But that being said, the second or third day of the sale had some pretty insane discounts. A lot of new sets already on sale for like 15-20% off through Lego, which I thought was so funny, because like that just shows you that they know that they overpriced some of these sets, and now they're having to sell them, 4 or 5 months later for 15-20% off. So that was hilarious to me. But as a consumer and as someone who has been slighted by Lego a little bit in the past, it makes me happy, because that means I spend less money on it. So I'll have some stuff there to show. Got some stuff on Amazon. So I've been doing these like survey apps where I get like credit for Amazon. So I've been able to use that to put towards some of these sets. So I'm not paying full price for them, and they're already getting discounted already. So it works out that way too. And then another one here I got from a Lego Discovery Center in New York. So I'll explain that story too when I get to it. But starting with the Lego store purchase, which is funny because this is probably the first Lego store purchase of a set I've made in like probably a year plus. So that just goes to show you how little I give Lego directly my money, I guess. So with the stuff I purchased, I did get a free poly bag, so I already have one of these, so got another one here, which I will probably keep sealed downstairs in my sealed set collection, maybe resell someday. I really like that poly bag too, like that Millennium Falcon poly bag is really nice. All right, so Lego.com purchases. Picked up the Bark Speeder Escape. So the reason why I kind of got this was on sale. I think it was like 15 or 20% off on Lego.com. And then I also had obviously my insider account, so I got 5%. I got points to use towards a future purchase, right? And then also I use Rakuten. So I'm not sponsored by Rakuten, obviously, but if you're not using Rakuten for Lego.com purchases, you definitely should. You get an additional 5% back on all purchases. So definitely make sure you have that set up when you go to checkout, because it definitely helps. Every little bit of cash back makes a difference. But yeah, wanted to get this because I heard it was rumored it was going to retire at the end of this year. This set has been out for I think almost a year, like almost 2 years now at this point. But yeah, really solid set. Wasn't paying $30 for it, so really glad to get it for like 24. Comes with Grogu, Keller and Beck, and 2 501st Clone Troopers, plus the Bark Speeder and the little light post, the infamous light post. But yeah, really cool to get this. Nice to have the pram that kind of comes off of that sidecar with Grogu. So really hyped to build this one at some point here. Let's see here. Also picked up this one. This one was also on sale. I think this was also 15 or 20% off. And that is the Home One Star Cruiser. So really love these mid-scale ships. I've seen some little like Easter eggs that come out of this thing, and I totally am now just realizing that it comes with a little frigate set that comes next to it. So that's kind of cool to see that. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people say this is a good set. I mean, just visually looking at it, I think it looks a little weird. It looks a little too simple in my opinion, but obviously once I build it, I'll be able to tell you otherwise maybe. But obviously this is from Return of the Jedi. And I guess the end of episode 5 too. So if you want to count that too. But yeah, this is really cool. Like I said, I've heard it has some Easter eggs, like some little like studs that kind of represent different characters like Admiral Akbar and Hera and stuff like that. So yeah, really excited to build this and add this with the rest of my Lego Star Wars sets and the mini-scale ships. I don't know how much longer they're going to do the Starship collection. You know, I know they brought back the helmets, so I kind of hope we still have both of them, because like that's kind of like my niche when it comes to purchases, right? Like those are the sets, and that's the price that I kind of go for when it comes to Lego sets. So I hope they don't get rid of either one of them. I hope they keep them both. But you know, we'll see. You know, Marvel's transitioning to like these bust sets versus like helmets. So we'll see if Lego or Star Wars follows suit too. But yeah, so some other stuff I picked up here. Also got the Acclimator. So this was on sale on Amazon for 20% off. So it was down to 40, and then I used $10 worth of Amazon credit from my surveys to get it down to 30. So I thought that was a pretty good price for this. And yeah, this is really cool. Obviously, I don't have money or space for a Venator, so this is the next best thing. Obviously, they're not the same ship, but I'm sure you can look up instructions online to make a Venator out of this thing. So maybe I'll do that at some point, maybe have like a Venator and an Acclimator next to each other. But for right now, I'm okay with this. This is still a great set. This ship was shown at the end of episode 2. It was in the Battle of Geonosis. So that's kind of where that comes from. So really, really cool to get that into the collection there. Another Star Wars set I picked up on Amazon. This one I think is still available at the time of recording for this price, which was like 36% off. So this was originally priced at $40. I got it for like $25, which was a pretty insane sale. And that is the Paz Vizsla and Moff Gideon battle. So again, this is another one that I think is rumored to retire this year. So if you don't have it, definitely recommend picking this up. I had my eyes on getting this set for a number of reasons. Obviously, the minifigures in this set are second to none. You know, that new Moff Gideon figure with the helmet, the updated Paz Vizsla, the Imperial Praetorian Guards, all really good stuff. You know, the set itself is a little small, right? But I think for $25, this is much more worth it, in my opinion. And then also this links really nicely to that battle pack that came out with this. So at some point, I'm going to try to get more of those battle packs before they retire, because I think I've also heard rumors that that battle pack will retire at the end of this year, which I really hope that's not the case, because that battle pack has only been out for like less than a year now, like at the time of this recording. So I hope it doesn't retire. But yeah, so that's that set, and really hype. Next year we're getting the Mandalorian and Grogu movies, so obviously we're gonna see some of these characters again, and you know, really excited to see what sets they come up with for that movie as well. But yeah, and then lastly here, so this last set I went to a Legoland Discovery Center over this past weekend, because I was going up for a one of my friends was having a bridal shower, or wedding shower, and my wife was invited to hang out with her, and so I had to find something to do. So we were in White Plains, New York, and so I realized there was a Legoland Discovery Center near there. So went there because I've heard online that there's some exclusive stuff that you can get like at the shops at the Legoland Discovery Centers. It's more so for kids, right? So like the Discovery Center part of it is like an attraction where the kids could go in, like build stuff and, you know, let their imagination run wild, right? So on and so forth. Obviously I'm a little bit old for that, right? So I just went into the shop. Yeah, so my quick thoughts on this, because I explained it to my wife too, but the customer service at that shop was definitely probably the worst I've ever seen in a Lego store. And I say that because usually in Lego stores, the customer service is very nice. Like the people there are very nice. They always greet you when you walk in. They're always asking you like if there's something you're looking for. And that's every Lego store I've been to, right? Like there has not been one that has not been like that, right? And the people in this one could not be bothered. They were like just running stock of stuff. Like, and there was one point where I was like kind of browsing between a shelf and like a shelf that was out in the area, like a wall shelf, and then like a shelf that was like fixed out onto like the shop floor. And this employee came through and basically like barged past me to like take sets back to the back of the store, which I thought was a little rude. And then like I also went to go check out, and I was explaining to the employee that I had a Lego Insiders account, right? Like the rewards program that Lego has, right? So every time you check out, you get like points, right? And I tried explaining it to him, and he had no idea what I was referring to. And I was like, you work for Lego, like how do you not know? And he's like, well, what pass do you have? And I'm like, I don't have a pass. And I guess it turns out that like when you go into the Legoland Discovery Center, you're supposed to get a pass, but like I just walked right into the shop. I didn't like go into the Discovery Center part of it. So he kind of just gave up trying to figure out what I was explaining, and he just gave me 10% off anyway. So I was like, okay, I'm not complaining. So yeah, so like I said, and another thing too, it wasn't because it was in New York. For some reason, some of the sets were like upcharged randomly. Like, and I thought at first it was like just the licensed sets like Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, Harry Potter, but that wasn't the case. Like there was some sets that were at the full retail price and nothing higher. And then there was like the brickheads for Falcon and the Red Hulk, or Captain America Falcon and the Red Hulk were like upcharged like $2 or $3. And I'm like, why is that? You know, why is this a thing, right? So that kind of turned me off a little bit. But on the flip side of that, I found a bunch of sets that were either retired or or heavily discounted. a lot of them weren't stuff that I was looking to get. So that's kind of the trade-off, right? There's a reason why most of them were discounted, because they weren't like good sets. But this one I did want to pick up because I did have the midi scale Cinderella castle for Disney. So I picked up this one. This is the Palace of Agrabah. Sorry if I butchered that. I should know this because I watched Aladdin. But this is obviously from Aladdin, right? So you have, the magic carpet there. Just all those gold pieces, looks great. Kind of wish we got a minifigure with this castle, which I guess is probably one of the reasons why this didn't sell as well, because all the other castles in this like dimension, in this size, have like an accompanying minifigure. Like the Disney castle had Mickey Mouse, right? Like the Sleeping Beauty castle has Sleeping Beauty, obviously. The I don't know what it's called, like the Atlantis like place where Ariel lives in the Little Mermaid. They made a scale, like a set similar to this scale for that, and that had Ariel, right? So I don't know why this one didn't have like Aladdin or Jasmine, right? Or both. So I think that's a real miss by Lego on their part, but nonetheless, I got this for probably about 20% off, 25% off maybe. So yeah, we'll give this a bill. We'll put it right next to the castle, and we'll go from there. It's crazy. I have like 2 shelves worth of Disney sets downstairs in my Lego collection. So yeah, but yeah, anyways, that is my Lego haul. So like I said, all this stuff I kind of accumulated over the course of like a month and a half. So not too much, but anyways, let's go ahead and get into the outro for this video. All right, guys, so thank you so much for watching this haul. And again, thank you so much for supporting the channel. One little plug I will leave you guys with, and I will drop it here, I think in the description of this video, and maybe put some stuff up here too. But I did start launching Meat Man again. So maybe I'll make a separate little video about it here too. But I started releasing Meat Man comics, digital comics that you can actually go buy on my Etsy channel. So I'll drop all that information here in the links below, and then obviously maybe throw something up here on the channel just so you know where to find it. But yeah, really encourage you guys to go check it out. The first 2 issues should look pretty similar. They're the same videos as we saw here on the channel, but it's in more of a print format. So really helps support, kind of the process of making these comics if you go on there. So definitely take a look. The first 2 issues are up there. The 3rd issue will be published in June, and we'll be working on that going forward. My wife is the editor of the issues, so her and I will be working together on this, and obviously a fun little thing at the end of the 2nd issue is there for you to kind of take a look at. So yeah, again, just throwing that out there. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, I will see you on the flip side.